The Syrian Kurdish fighters that we're with tell us that the Sinjar mountain range is now completely under their control and that the humanitarian situation is much more manageable, with only a few hundred of the many thousands of families left who had previously been stranded here. But it's a very different situation in the valleys surrounding us. To the north, all the territory there had previously been held by ISIS, and this was land through which the Kurdish fighters had to open a corridor so that people on this mountain could flee on it. And it's still a very precarious situation there. Points on that route which is still needed both by the fighters here and those few people who still remain on the mountain, still want to leave. That route is precarious. At some points, ISIS are only a kilometer away or so. Yesterday, as we were traveling the road, we heard gunfire at several points. We were warned as we set off on the route that mortars had been fired on it earlier in the day. So just gives you an idea how difficult it is for civilians trying to use that road. There was also active fighting last night. We heard shelling through the night at a location about 30 kilometers away from here. So it's still a very active zone, a very difficult place for the civilians here, both those leaving the mountaintop and also people who live in the surrounding valley who've been caught up in this fighting.
Now, the U.S. president took partial credit, at least, for diffusing this crisis, saying it was thanks to the airdrops of humanitarian aid that the thousands of trapped Yazidis were able to escape. Is that indeed what you've seen?
Well, the Kurdish fighters here tell us that actually that's not the case, and that may be a question of pride. I mean, it's no small feat what they've managed to do here. If you consider that the Iraqi army just melted in front of ISIS's advance, and the Kurdish fighters here have been able to open up this corridor and maintain it. Let's also remember that the airstrikes were very limited. America never said that it was going to do anything more than that. So certainly they would have helped, but the Kurdish fighters here believe that most of the hard work was done by them, and it's because of their efforts that that corridor was able to be opened and people to leave.